New York. New York. Man, you know it's been an eternity. It has been an over 50-year wait. 50. Knicks fan has been waiting for a Knicks championship since 1973. 50 years. And Knicks fan is still waiting for a championship because last night does not mean jack. Last night does not mean bleep. Congratulations. You won the Powder Cup. Yeah, that's nice, I guess.
Congratulations.
They can't take that from you, although they probably should. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just not a championship. Not even close. But I guess technically better to win than to lose, right? In fact, it's actually a very good sign for the Knicks, who, remember, crashed out of the conference finals and then sawed off Tibbs in a shocking move that most people did not agree with at that time, myself included. But you got to admit, and I've always been a big fan of this guy, I didn't like the firing at the time. Then I felt a little better about it when they hired Mike Brown. I've always liked Mike Brown. And you got to admit, Mike Brown has done a pretty damn good job with this team so far. You got to admit, swapping Mike Brown onto the end of that bench has this Knicks offense looking a whole lot better. They're 18-7. They're currently the 2 seed in the East, and beating Orlando and San Antonio in back-to-back games in Vegas to win the Powder Cup is actually proof of concept for the Mike Brown Knicks. He absolutely has them playing good ball. Now, again, that is not a real championship. Just ask the Knicks, because the Knicks, amazingly, will be the first team not to hang a banner for the Powder Cup. And to me, that's an even bigger win than the Powder Cup itself. Finally, the Knicks do something right. Finally, the Knicks get it right. Way to go, Knicks. I've taken enough runs at you over the years. I'll give you credit.
Get it right.
Where credit's due. Finally, somebody pushing back on powder. Damn, dude, get some sun. Anyway, way to go, Knicks. Way to put Adam Silver, a.k.a. Powder, and his Powder Cup in their rightful place. Can you imagine how much that must piss Powder off? Powder probably wishes he could force James Dolan to stick a Powder Cup banner in the MSG rafters. Powder probably wishes he could tell James Dolan to raise that banner and keep it there for life. For life. For life. For life. I mean, TBH, I'm shocked that Dolan is not using this as an excuse to hang another silly banner, because that dude loves hanging silly banners. I was convinced the Powder Cup banner was going to go right up there next to the Billy Joel and Harry Styles banners. You know, banners that you fly in the absence of having real banners relating to real things. Look at these banners. I mean, certainly the Powder Cup is going right next to those two, right? Maybe not. Here's the problem. The Miano Pans 150 lifetime MSG concerts and Harry Styles' 15 consecutive sellout nights at the Garden are both way more impressive accomplishments than winning the Powder Cup. An NBA Powder Cup banner does not even deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence or in the same building as the Miano Pan and Harry Styles. So I'm going to give the Knicks credit for something I never give them credit for. Keeping the main thing the main thing. Credit to the Knicks for saying, yeah, you know what? This is nice.
Give them some credit.
But this is not the goal. The goal is to win in June. The goal is to win the Larry O. The goal is to win the actual championship, the real one, not some fake, phony, powdery version. Like I said, not hanging a banner for winning the Powder Cup is almost as impressive. No, it's more impressive than winning the Powder Cup. And I don't say that because I'm hating. I say that because it's actually a consistent message for the Knicks. Remember, the Knicks broke off a great Knicks head coach, and they did so to send one clear message. Message being, even though we haven't been here in a quarter of a century, the conference finals are still not good enough. The goal here, the standard here, is to win a championship. So it stands to reason that if the conference finals weren't even good enough, then obviously the Powder Cup is nowhere near good enough. If you're going to fire a guy for getting you to the conference championship, then the Powder Cup is like an embarrassment more than anything else. But again, you don't even have to take it from me. Take it from the Knicks. Take it from Knicks star Jalen Brunson himself. This is how he answered the question, what does this win mean to NYC?
Jalen, what does this championship mean to the city of New York? And if they are going to have a parade, what's your notes for them?
I don't think we're having a parade. One, to the city of New York, I think it's good that we won this. I think it's good that we were able to. The way we won it, I think, is special as well. I mean, our fans are always going to support us through thick and thin. Yeah.
Yeah. He should have just answered the question with that. Yeah. That about sums it up. And when he says he doesn't think there's going to be a parade, I'm just going to put myself out there and say, I'm positive there's not going to be a parade. In fact, I'm not sure anybody in New York City even noticed or cares or even knows at all that it even happened. At least judging from this viral clip of the insane atmosphere of Knick fan going Knick fan outside of MSG last night. Yeah, no. When I say insane, what I mean is the insanely dead atmosphere. Check this out. I mean, did somebody actually die? How is this atmosphere so dead? Somebody must have died. They either don't know or they don't care. But that Powder Cup means nothing to anybody there.
Knicks won the NBA Cup. Yo, Knicks won the NBA Cup. How you feel?
How you feel? There's two people out there. The Knicks won the NBA Cup. How you feel? I mean, these dudes didn't even break stride. And by the way, who's shooting that video? Is that Mike Brown? Hey, man, we won the NBA Cup. How y'all feel? MSG was a freaking ghost town last night. Where were all the maniacs? And whatever you do, don't you tell me how cold it was. Does it seem like those psychos are afraid of a little cold weather? Look at the incredible difference in vibe and energy between last night outside MSG and then the real outside MSG for any real playoff game or anything that really matters. Check out the difference.
Joel Embiid, come take these hands, bitch!
We don't need cheese! That's Philly truth! Yo, Philly, you can feel these nuts! When catch you in Philly, we gon' you up! I'll wipe my ass with that beat! Smoke some weed! Let's go! Let's go! Joel Embiid, we sending your ass to China, so get ready to pack. Yo, let's go, Dante DiVincenzo, the Italian. We are the New York Knicks! Go to New York! Go New York! Go New York! Go! If I had a sister, I'd let Jalen Brunson and the entire New York Knicks train on her tonight.
If I had a sister, Powder's like, where is that? Where's that energy? Where are they? Where is everybody? How come nobody's out here celebrating my Powder Cup? Because they don't give a damn, Powder. Because it doesn't matter to them. That does. That clearly does. You see, that's what it's like when Knick fan cares. Actually cares. And clearly, Knick fan does not give a crap about this. And why would they? Here is who cares about the NBA Cup. LeBag and the guys at the end of the bench who just got massive $500,000 bonuses that are like half their salary. For those dudes, it was the Super Bowl last night. You see them all come flying off the bench at the final buzzer? Check this out. If you're watching on our stream, watch these guys fly off the bench. And believe me, it's not because they won. Well, it is because they won. But it's not because they won the Powder Cup. These guys unfreeze it. They won a lot of money. If you're sitting at the end of the bench making the NBA, look how happy these guys are. Don't you dare tell me these guys are all ecstatic because they won the Powder Cup. Don't give a damn. Why do you think Jalen's walking around like, yeah, and? Because Jalen gets paid. Look at these dudes, though. Look at the dudes who never, ever see any PT. Hell yes, they're partying. They just made $500,000. So, okay, fine. It does mean something. It means something to LeBag, and it means something to those scrubs who don't get paid. A big fat check. That's what it means. That's what it means. It means those dudes are getting paid. That's why they acted like hockey players flying over the wall after the game-winning goal in overtime of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. I've never seen bench dudes that happy to win the actual Larry O. Let me repeat that. I have never seen bench dudes that happy to win the actual Larry O. That's what $500,000 each will do. Those dudes are literally paid to be excited about winning the Powder Cup. They were bribed. Actually, the excitement was real. I'm not saying they faked the excitement, but they had to buy their excitement. Now, the difference here is, why am I not so excited? Nobody chipped me off $500,000. Let me tell you something, Powder. Hey, Powder, if you sent me a $500,000 check and put it right there, oh man, I'd be coming over the table. I'd be doing this show jumping up and down. I'd be the happiest guy there was. Except you don't pay me. You don't pay me to watch. You don't pay me to care. You don't pay me to play. I don't give a damn. And I would say most people don't either. You know why? You're not bribing us. You're bribing them. That's why nobody anywhere is excited about this nonsense as the bench warmers on that winning team. Going back to what Brunson said, it was a nice win. Given how they did win, given that they were down 11 late in the third quarter, given that they came back to win, pulling away, given how well they closed with that massive 35-point fourth quarter, given the fact that they got good, even contributions across their lineup, even from the bench. I'm not saying it wasn't a nice win. I'm saying it's not some championship equivalent achievement. The Knicks, their official social media post, the cup is ours. Great. Nobody else wants it. You can have it. I think now, I will say this about the Knicks. I don't care about the Powder Cup. I think I made that pretty clear. But if you separate the cup, which means nothing, from the way they're actually playing, which means a lot, I think what it does do, it sends a message that they actually are a legit, bona fide contender. I think it shows that running Tibbs into the chipper did not actually set this team back. They got close last year, and it looks like they're primed to make another run this year. Maybe even be better this year. That's what the Knicks announced to the world last night. I'm just not sure that anybody heard the announcement because everybody is just wondering, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You don't want to have a statement and an announcement and a message getting lost in something else. And I don't mean getting lost in nobody caring. It didn't get lost in that per se. Well, yes, it did. It got lost in the fact that nobody cared and nobody knew. However, there was one other distraction that everybody was talking about. They weren't talking about the Powder Cup and what it represented. No. The one thing that I saw everybody who had an opinion about last night talking about was wondering what the hell was Josh Hart doing after that game? Something tells me Josh Hart would not be celebrating the real Larry O by shoving his thumb in somebody's butt. If you're watching, why, you seeing this on the stream? I probably should have warned you the next video is graphic in nature. Can I walk that back? Hey, everybody, the next video, if you're watching on the stream, is graphic in nature. It's Josh Hart maneuvering his thumb into a teammate's backside. I mean, what is he? Who is he? Pervin Liar at the Chop House?
Trying to pull
I
me out
know
on
today's
the
hump
dance
day
floor,
and all,
screwing
but
around, and I should have left.
not on camera. I've never heard of the thumb in the tailpipe celebration. That's a new one for me. Like, what are we doing here, dude? You do realize, even though it's utterly meaningless, the powder cup,
What are we doing?
but they still televise that, right? You know that. You do realize that they air the powder cup trophy presentation on the broadcast, right? I know it's an awkward and lame and meaningless trophy presentation, but we can all still see it. So that was weird. And if that wasn't weird enough, then Hart goes to the post-game podium and then he does this.
You know, inch for inch, I think is probably the best one.
I mean, asked about Jalen Brunson, he said, you know, inch for inch is probably the best one. Yeah, like none of this is weird or creepy or sus or anything like that. Right when I want to give them credit. Way to Knicks. Way to do one almost impressive thing and then immediately engage in some nonsense that completely overshadows the one almost impressive thing that you did. Like, you finally get to raise a trophy, even though it's the powder cup, for the first time in over a half century. And nobody's even looking at the trophy because everybody is tracking the wandering thumb. Now I almost want a banner. Now I almost want a banner again. Now I almost think this moment does deserve to be commemorated in the MSG rafters. Not to celebrate the powder cup, but to commemorate the goofy, creepy, weirdo aftermath. Right up there. Next to Billy and Harry. There it is. The Powder Cup 2025 champions, overshadowed by butt stuff. There's your banner.
Creep.
Buttocks.
I don't know. Me? When we get further and further beyond this, and I look back, and I think back to the 2025 Powder Cup, the one thing that will always stay with me, the thing that I will always think of first, will be Hart's wandering thumb. And I think I speak for pretty much every other NBA fan and every non-fan of the Powder Cup. At least Hart gave us something. As weird and as creepy as it was. And they can't take that from us. What are y'all doing up there? I mean, there's grab-assing. And then there's thumb-assing. There's grab-assing, as athletes are prone to do. But thumb-assing? Hey, Powder, how'd that grab you? How you like that? Your finest moment, Powder. Your cup. And you got a dude up there with a wandering thumb. And that's all anybody's talking about. Not the win, not the cup, nothing. Hey, listen. Whenever we talk about people, hey, man, you know what? I didn't even say it on the show. Hey, do me a favor. Get to the X. Thumb something out. What I've never said is, get to the podium. Thumb out your teammate's backside. Wow, man. Weird. Weird. Just in case you missed it the first 5 times we showed it. Brunson's like, what are you doing, man? Hey, bro. I don't know if you want to thumb out your best player on the team. Look at his reaction. He's turning around. He's like, man, what are you doing, man? Who did that? What is that? That tells you the kind of respect they have for the powder cup. They're up there doing that. That should tell you all you need to know. I think that's the whole point. I just spent 25 minutes and I should have just played that video. And so let me tell you about the powder cup. That's what they think of it. That's what it means to them. I mean, I think about Mike when Mike won the Lario and him being on the ground, cradling it and crying. I didn't see Scotty try to thumb him. Or Dennis. Or Bill Cartwright. Or anybody else. Or Tony Kukoc. Or Phillip. No, man. They respected the moment. Because it was a moment. That was a moment. But a very different moment. Not a moment of respect. Mike was prone and lying on the ground crying his eyes out. Not running around with his thumb up in the air. You know, Hart's like, hey, man, I didn't do anything. Just trying to catch a ride home. Just trying to catch a ride, yo. What a scene. Anyway, go New York, go New York, go.